Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 16th, 16th ever offline TV podcast, 17th ever offline TV podcast, 18th ever offline TV podcast.
Use whatever audio works.
Mr. Editor, you know what to do. Just pick the correct one. Today, we are joined by TSM Leena. Welcome.
Hey guys. Yeah,
right.
Thanks for having me.
No problem. Leena, could you tell us a little bit about yourself? And what do you do for a living?
Yeah, so right now I'm the president at TSM. I've been with TSM since, I think it's 8 years now. It's been since 2012. And right now I do everything in terms of recruiting players, entering into new esports, like the budgeting for when right now we're in the process of picking up a Valorant team. So I have to do all the budgeting in terms of the player salaries, coaching staff. If we're going to do a team house, if we're going to do boot camps, all these things need to be planned so that the business can, run properly and profit. So anything that relates to TSM business is a part of my division.
Yeah, like scouting. I believe Myth, when he was on, he mentioned that you were the one who reached out to him when he had like less than 500 viewers, asking if he wants to be on TSM.
Yeah, actually, it's a really funny story because I reached out to him after I saw the clip of, the 1v1 with Summit.
Yeah.
And he had, I think, like 300 to like 500-ish viewers at the time. And I remember when I reached out to him, he immediately I followed him on Twitter first, and he immediately followed me back. It wasn't until maybe a week later that I tried to schedule a meeting with him to talk to him about it. And then he was already a TSM fan. So honestly, signing him was kind of easy because immediately, just right when we first got on the call, he's like, I want to join TSM. It's like, okay, well, you should, take some time. And then I remember I ended that conversation with him saying, hey, so is there like, can you introduce me to your mom or your dad? I'd like to talk to them as well. And he says to me, oh, no, I'm good. I'm 18. And it was like,
wait, was he 18?
He was 18. I think he had just turned 18.
Okay.
But it was just really funny because he brought up to me that he actually was a Dyrus fan from season 3, and he was like watching TSM content since when he was in middle school. And at the time, it was kind of, for me, recruiting someone that young, I was like, wow, you're watching TSM when you're in middle school? Like, for me, that was like, a couple years ago, but it was like 5 years ago. So, yeah.
I actually have a couple of questions in regards to that. For starters, how do you go about like scouting good talent? And then my second question is just like, does it ever just not work out? And what do you guys usually do in that case? Because I know, some organizations try to take the approach of just like signing a ton of people and figuring out that, some will. Are you guys more deliberate with it? Kind of, what's your procedure like?
Yeah, so I think usually nowadays esports is so big that when a new game comes out, we know on the back end, hey, Valorant is going to be coming out, Project A at the time, for a while now. And you can kind of tell, usually we'll work with the developers. We can kind of tell like what type of game it's going to be. And then you can kind of look at other scenes, usually pro players from other scenes that didn't really make it in their original scene. Like the Valorant case, CSGO pro players who didn't have the most success, they're probably going to jump over. So we're looking at people who probably have some type of competitive experience, because even though it's in another game, usually they're experienced in terms of working with a team, working in a team environment, working with an organization. And usually they are at the top level of their game overall as a whole, even though they didn't like make it through and become the star player of that genre. And then secondly, we of course look at the ladders. So I'm a huge nerd, and I also follow all the different online forums, like Reddit, all the different Discords. And so usually like when names pop up, like, oh, this person's popping off, usually pretty early on, and we'll be able to see it.
So do you guys mainly go for like players that are super good, or do you guys look at like content creators as well?
Yes.
Fed wants a chance.
No, I'm asking for a friend, sorry.
So for the pro team, we're just looking at people who are really skilled.
Mhm.
And word gets around fast on like who's skilled and who's not. So at the beginning of Apex, Dizzy was a name that blew up, and we actually were talking to Dizzy before he blew up as well. He ended up signing to NRG before we got too deep into conversations with him. But he was someone who was already a streamer, and he was playing. I know he played CS at a pretty top level, even though he didn't like make it as a CS pro. And so you can kind of see at least skill throughout a person's history of like gaming, as long as they're like broadcasting it. And in terms of content creators, right now TSM I think we've started diversifying and signed a lot of content creators that aren't big gamers. Yeah, Greek is a good one where he's he still games, but he's not signed for his skill in gaming.
True.
Clip it, ship it, boys. Clip it and ship it.
Yeah, no, Greek is awesome. Yeah.
All right. Speaking of, Reddit and, seeing people's names being brought up, Leena, your name has recently been brought up a lot, especially in the League of Legends subreddit. Now, which is kind of unexpected because you're more back end, right? You're the president, you're the brains, but suddenly a lot of League personalities coming out with videos talking about you. Very juicy stuff. I think we're gonna touch on it a little bit. Leena,
Mhm.
I guess I'll just say what my perspective is as someone who's like just a viewer, just someone who's kind of seeing and listening to all this drama about Double Lift right now. So for those who don't know, Double Lift left Team Liquid to join TSM in the League of Legends esports scene. Pretty normal like esports move stuff, right? People switch teams all the time. But everyone is saying, wait a second, this is against the rules. Isn't this collusion? This is poaching. This is conflict of interest. Because Leena, as I understand, you're currently dating Double Lift while being the president of TSM. So it sparked this huge discussion between everyone, a lot of accusation, a lot of rumors, a lot of stories. So I just want to ask, what's kind of your side about, and how do you feel like people saying all these like really like not cool things about you on the internet?
Yeah, so I think that it hasn't really been a secret. First of all, it hasn't been a secret that Peter and I have been dating. We've been dating for a while now. And I feel like a lot of the community members, like we can't really stop what the fans are going to say. There's always going to be trolls and haters online and stuff like that. Like I don't really care about that. It's mostly the community members who we do work with. We're going to be in the same community for a long period of time. Like I don't think TSM or they're going to go anywhere, or Double Lift or anyone. And I just want us to all have like a good working relationship. But I think it's kind of hypocritical that they're not respectful about the situation. They never didn't reach out to any of us, TSM or Peter or anyone, for comment on anything, and they just want to start throwing these accusations around. And so just for the record, like Riot did do an investigation over before the trade was approved. Actually, there was actually a chance that it wasn't going to be approved depending on what they find in the investigation. And everyone from TSM, we like participated, we cooperated fully with the investigation. We sent everything into Riot. Like we don't need to answer to these online trolls, or I guess even like these just people throwing these rumors out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then now I think it's kind of ridiculous that Riot came out and said, hey, they did the investigation, everything's been approved by the league, and it's still not really satisfying for them. And they want to keep on just talking shit. For me, I think if they had a problem with my relationship with Peter, they should have voiced it months ago when we first became public about the situation. I think that it's just convenient right now for them to bring it up to stop this trade from happening. Because anything that, they could have made this big news like 6, 7, 8 months ago. And I think that they would have more grounds to stand on. In terms of Riot, the conflict of interest is something that is an internal TSM problem. If the company wants to take on, I guess, the liability of having two pretty important people date, Oh, also from the Team Liquid side, when we first started dating, Peter did disclose to Steve. He had a one-on-one meeting with Steve to tell him, hey, like, I'm dating Leena now, like before it was even public. So he did his part, and Steve knew about the whole thing. And in terms of like the poaching allegations, like we worked with Steve to on the deal. Steve even had a video come out today where he talked about how he approached Peter, and like they both knew that this was a possibility. From the league investigation side, they sent out a memo. It's pretty confidential. Like they didn't release the full investigation out to the public, but there were multiple teams that reached out to Steve about picking up Double Lift. And I think that it's kind of, I mean, you can have whatever opinion you want about Double Lift as a player, but it's not really any big surprise that, you know, multiple people want to pick up this guy who is like the best AD carry in the league for some time, for like a long period of time. Obviously, he had a bad split this time, or the spring split. And then I will say, from our perspective, like we heavily pushed for the deal to happen because Soren, our mid laner, you know, really wanted to play with him again. There's a lot of team issues that we think that Double F coming on board was going to help solve, and that has nothing to do with me. So, yeah.
Oh, Pokey, you're muted on Discord.
Sorry, I was gonna say, I think the thing that, from a very much outsider's perspective, bothers me the most is, as you said, people seem to have like a massive problem with it now, but they didn't care at all for the last half a year, which I think is kind of odd because if anything, there would have been way more conflict of interest if he was on another team as opposed to you guys being on the same team. Or at least that's how I see it.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that if at any point Steve was uncomfortable about the situation, you know, he would have told me. Steve and I have been friends before this whole thing went down for a long time as well. And, you know, Steve actually reached out to Peter and I to hang out together a couple of months ago before the COVID stuff happened. But I want to say, usually in a case of poaching and tampering, there's an injured party. In this case, it would be Team Liquid if we poached and tampered, and then they would go through Riot to try to, you know, get justice for any wrongdoings. But Steve willingly worked with us in the trade. So I'm sure now that the news has been out, you guys can see that from a Team Liquid standpoint, they were pretty committed to moving on with Tactical. And so I think that should be more than enough proof for anyone that thinks that there might be anything going on the back end. And it's not really up to anyone else to judge besides Team Liquid and Riot, honestly.
No, but they're dating. They shouldn't switch teams. I'm angry. Fuck TSM. No, dude, people just find anything to bitch about these days, especially on Reddit. I swear to God. But you know, it'd be like that.
Yeah.
Really do.
Got a question. If you don't answer, we can edit it out. But like, I came across this picture on Twitter by Travis, who's like really good friends with Double Lift, right? And it's a picture of you guys, you know, being close at the club. And when I saw that picture, I thought it's like,
I was there.
yo, if my bro did that to me, like when I'm with a girl that people don't really know about, I'd be so fucking pissed off at that. Like, did he ask you guys ahead of time? Say, hey, is it cool if I tweet this picture of you guys?
Yeah, so yeah, Fed was actually there.
Yeah.
And yeah, Fed was actually there.
It was a good night.
No,
for
yeah.
sure.
It was definitely a fun night. Travis did actually ask us if he could post it, which was fine. At the time, I think that Peter and I have been public for a couple of months now, so it wasn't really a big secret anymore. I think I don't really like that it's being used out of context. Some of the things that have been floating around are like, you know, Domini or Marks, you know, they shouldn't be using this for clickbait. And I think that that's just kind of trashy, to be honest. I think in the context of everyone went out, you know, in a group of friends, and, you know, people post like drunk photos of each other. It's not really a big deal, but to bring it and connect it to the trade right now, I think that that's just not very nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the topics we have here is like the most ridiculous rumor or story ever told about you. Like we kind of touched on Leena and what she's been going through. Pokey, you're someone who has so many narratives about you on the internet that I can't really keep up with,
Me
what kind of
neither.
person you are.
I find out more about myself every day.
Is there
Ruthless
is there
businesswoman.
is there a couple or like one of them that you heard about yourself and you're
There's
like,
always one that has always stood out to me, both because I think it's just so out there, but also for some reason so funny to me. And I read this like a couple or many years ago, and it was just like someone wrote this long, elaborate story about how Skara fell in love with me and I rejected him, but he's just too nice to kick me out of offline TV and the house. And it's like, I love Skara, dude, but the thing is, there's never even been any sign that anything like that could have ever occurred. And nothing like that ever has or ever will. It's just like, it's the kind of thing where sometimes well, it's the kind of thing that sometimes I can see like, oh, if I'm playing with someone a lot or like joking around, this and that, people are like, oh, there's tension, there's chemistry. And then they start spreading rumors based off of that. But this Cara thing, it was just like so random, out of left field. And it just really solidified to me that people will really spread whatever ideas or stories they want, and you just can't trust random internet sources. Even if it sounds like elaborate and well made up, Yeah. What about you, Fed? Toast? Any interesting rumors?
I feel like I'm so like open about my life that it's hard to like create rumors because like I stream so much now that like everything's kind of out there. You know what I mean? I don't really have a private life anymore. So like people will like kind of guess like what they think is going on, but then it's not always completely true. I don't know.
Oh, I do remember there being like random nights where people will like piece together that you're hanging out with someone and stuff like that.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's just like I can't even fucking leave my room. So I ain't gonna be hanging out with no one these days. So I mean, it's just the internet, man.
True.
Like I feel like it's just a common theme.
True.
Toast, what about you?
Rumors. I don't get a lot of rumors. I don't lead a very interesting life. But what's always annoying to me is like since I signed the deal with Facebook, like a lot of people like talking about my Facebook contract, like they're the experts. Like, oh, he's getting paid X and Y. He can't do this. He's locked in for this amount of years. Like, and it's crazy because like I did a Twitch stream a week ago, right? Everyone's mind was blown. It's like, wait, this is you're violating your Facebook contract. You can't do this. I'm gonna tell Mark Zuckerberg. It's like, what's going on? But it's like no one ever like I never talked about my Facebook contract. Like people just assume, oh, he signed his life away. He's gonna be miserable. He's gonna be stuck there. But like I guess I kind of want to come back to Twitch. Just like, hey, I'm chilling. I'm happy. I can stream on Twitch if I want to. I just don't, feel the need to right away. So, yeah, it gets annoying when people like just make all these assumptions and statements about like, things for a fact isn't true, and you try and ignore it, but sometimes you just gotta come out and kind of like smack them down a little. It's like, hey, you don't know jack shit what you're talking about, right? Yeah.
Very true.
So will we see more Twitch streams from you in the future?
Maybe next week, maybe next month. Who knows? But
Yay.
does fame negatively or positively affect your love life? Ooh. I mean, we're all Leena's going through it right now, but like we've all been through. Like Fed recently gone through his little shipping phase with Yuna, where you have like I saw some of the shit people are tweeting at you. People are tweeting at me. It's like, Toast, you gotta tell Fed that he's fucking things up. He needs to do X, Y, and Z. And I've been through my stuff. Pokey, you kind of you're more low key about your stuff in general, and you can maybe explain why you keep
the shipping content hits everyone though.
Yeah, no, it's not really a choice at this point.
Does fame ever positively affect someone's love life aside from if they're just trying to hook up with as many people as possible?
Oh wow, that
Why
was
you
my
look at me
point
when you
that
said that?
That's what.
What?
Did I?
Sure, I was just-
I think you're imagining things, man.
I mean, as someone who is very minorly famous, I think when I interact with female streamers or just like girls in general, but particular girl streamers, it's just like this. I just assume they're talking to me because they want like to collab or to like be friendly on me on
Get
a
some
professional,
clout.
get some clout essentially. And I think it's bad because I think there are girl streamers who are interested in me, but they don't want to come off that way, so they can't really like
Mhm.
talk to me.
Yeah.
Like even when I ask her, hey, you want to make content with me, like I only feel comfortable like interacting with girl streamers if it's just for content, because if my mind ever reaches a point where it's like, oh, I had a great time with her, maybe I kind of like her, it's this mental block. It's like, well, you only interacted for content, and that's probably what she's interested in. So it definitely like negatively impacts like what people's intentions are and what my own intentions
I
are.
have a question. Would you guys think that's necessarily a bad thing? Like I think clout. We use this word like a lot, but I think they're interested in you because you're successful. Right? Not
I
because.
think people can be like. I think maybe Toast's point is that it's hard to differentiate sometimes whether someone is just like impressed or attracted by your success or your hard work, or if they're just impressed by the amount of fame or followers that you have because they can profit from it. And the worst thing is that sometimes people themselves have a hard time distinguishing those feelings or even like looking into why they are interested in someone.
Mhm.
And sometimes even they don't know until you're halfway down the line of getting to know each other and it's too late anyways.
Mhm.
I
So-
think in the context of a normal relationship, because you don't have those added things to, I guess, complicate things, it makes sense that they would like you for you as they start getting to know you. And so I think a hard part is, even for Double Lift and myself, we knew coming into it, like, hey, we're both someone, and like if this became a thing and if it became public, people are going to make these accusations about you. And that's just like unnecessary pressure for the relationship that I don't think you need to bring in.
Mhm.
But I mean, from my like personal perspective with Peter, it's nice. Like when your relationship is going well, you feel like you do want to share it because it is nice and you want your fans to be happy for you. And it's also hard when we're going to go out in public, pre-COVID, and people are going to see us together and they're going to start rumors about it. So at the time, we thought we might as well just come out with it ourselves. I don't think that we ever expected it to become this big of an issue.
I have
Yes.
a thought I want to share with you guys that I've been having recently.
You only have one thought? I thought you had like
I was
two or
just I was
three.
just waiting for Iman to just chime in when I said that. Okay, no. So part of what makes me watchable is that I'm very relatable, and part of my relatability is that
You don't want to get a girlfriend because then the incels won't like you.
precisely. So
Really?
well, it's a thought. It's a thought, and
Yeah.
I just wanted to like bring that up, and it's something I think about, a lot because I feel like people do get invested, and this kind of ties back into like the whole shipping culture thing, and it I find it like entertaining, to really root for someone, and yeah, I'm not sure how to like navigate through that thought. I don't know what you guys think. Toast, you haven't experience in this department.
I think because when you're single, you get away with way more stuff when it comes to interacting with girls. Like if you're in a relationship and like you want to do more dating content, it's like, hey, it's just for content. Like your girlfriend is probably not like gonna be okay
Not
with it. It's gonna be
down.
offensive, right? Like, or if you're just seeing a girl more seriously and she sees you online, it's like, yo, I got a girl lined up today. We're gonna play some marbles, and then you're like doing your awkward dating thing. I think that's what keeps at least for like from someone like me, from doing more stuff. But
Mhm.
if you're single, you can do it without too much guilt, right? Because if you're talking to girls, it's like, hey, we're just vibing, we're just doing it for content. So I agree in the sense that if you're single and you're doing like content where you're trying to find a girl, trying to find a girlfriend, talking to different girls, people are more invested in it as a viewer. So yeah.
Fed,
I mean-
I think you can be more than just shipping content. You
Oh
know?
yeah, I mean, for all of last year, I mean, I didn't really do anything, but any shipping related things, I don't think. But yeah, it's just something on my mind recently. Yeah.
So-
But if you think about it, if
Mhm.
if you end up getting a girlfriend, you're kind of you can show the incels the light, they can get a girlfriend too.
Ah,
Right?
yes, I am you guys. So this is
If
how you
Fed
do
can
it.
do it with that haircut, anyone can.
What the fuck?
Let me cut your hair, please.
Dude, it's nice. I like it.
I just think about that picture where the Play-Doh is being squeezed through like
Oh
a
my
spaghetti
God.
strainer.
Dude, that's pelon. They're called pelons in Spanish.
Pelons.
Oh, but
I think what
yeah.
you're saying makes sense, but it's also good to think like someday, hopefully, you'll find a girl that feels like she's worth cutting off that sort of content for. Like it won't even be a thought in your mind. Like you will
True.
like her so much, you will want to compromise however need be.
That's a good ass point. Can I get an amen?
Amen.
All right.
God bless.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
I think for the ladies, one thing that girl streamers go through a lot when it comes to dating is that because you're a streamer, your dating pool, or like you're in the scene, your dating pool are gonna be guys who have some kind of following, right? You're not gonna meet like some random Joe at the library and oh, he's a history professor and you fall in love with him, what kind of deal?
That sounds
Chances
kind of
are-
nice, to be honest.
chances are the people you date are gonna be people with following, and it sucks because like no matter like what you do or what you say or the connection you make, people will at the end of the day say, well, she's just dating him because he's famous, or she's just doing it for clout. How do you kind of navigate that to like always feel like no matter who you date, people are gonna make rumors about you? And like the thing about, I feel like with these streamers, like if they're a big streamer, if they have a strong following, it's because they have attributes that make them attractive as a partner. It's like they're successful, they're hardworking. Like for example, Peter, like he's the top ADC, but you're not dating him because he's a top ADC. You're dating him because like he had the drive, the confidence, the trash talk to put himself as someone to be top ADC, right? It's kind of like a cause and effect thing.
Yeah, he has really, really good qualities that make him who he is, and like his fame, his following, his like success in his career is a part of. It's like the consequence of all of his actions and attributes together.
Mhm.
So,
How do you
I think,
handle that then? Like I don't even know if people could even really say that like you're trying to clout chase or something because you kind of have enough clout on your own. You know what I mean? Or is that something you've ever had to deal with?
yeah, I would say when I first started dating Andy, I was a college student. Him and I are actually from the same hometown. There are a lot of really like shitty rumors about me. And I'll also just part of like being a girl on the internet, I think has gotten better through time. It's a lot more friendly now than it was 8 years ago. And yeah, people called me a gold digger. People said that I was only dating him because of fame. Even now, people sometimes talk about like the reason why we broke up, like, oh, she left him as soon as, she was like done, getting her position at TSM. Like, no, Andy broke up with me, and I was very open up about that. And I think it's just people want to assume the worst of you if you're a female on the internet. I think that's just a hard part of what we have to deal with. With Peter, it's not as bad because by the time that we started dating at the end of last year, like Iman is saying, I am already a known figure in the community. I myself don't really like my job isn't focused around fame or followers or anything. I work on the business side. I obviously do like to participate on the Twitter game and Instagram game, even sometimes stream on Twitch just for fun. But I'm not out here trying to get as many followers as I can because it's not a part of my job. It's just something I like to do for fun. And I think that for Peter's it's not something that he's trying to get either. Like dating me, having a popular relationship is not gonna, impact his job performance in any way. I mean, if anything, he plays worse because girls from LCS.
True.
It's a time commitment thing that you have to now be more smart about your time if you're in a committed relationship.
That's fair. For me personally, I think like that's the main reason why I never really wanted to talk about relationships publicly because I know the majority of the people that I meet will also be in the scene, and it's just not something that I want to impact both my relationship and my work, if that makes sense. Like I really enjoy my work. I never want to feel like I mean, I get enough trolls and hate as it is. I don't want it to be added on top of that because of more stuff that the public knows about me that they don't need to know about me, if that makes sense. And I also feel like it worked out in a really interesting way because I mean, I've been in the scene a long time. And when I first started, people would probably say that I'm clout chasing someone. And at this point, if I started dating someone, they'll just say that they're clout chasing me. So how about you guys just don't know who I hang out with ever? And I think for me, my favorite thing is just like having peace of mind within the relationship that there's no external factors at all. And yeah, like if someday, if there was ever a world where like I started dating someone and their career changed drastically because of me, I feel like that's something that you would have to consider as well if you were to ever break up with them. You know, it just makes things complicated. I like a simple life.
Yeah. Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Well, so from my perspective, Peter and I obviously we talked about like should we become public? It was really nice in the beginning, honestly, to not feel like you have to hide anything. Do you think that there would ever be a world where if you were pretty serious with someone that it would be something that you'd feel comfortable sharing?
Yeah, I usually forget to add this, but I mean relationships are always like a two-part thing. So if I ever felt like, oh, there's something that like we're really serious about and for some reason my significant other really wanted us to be public and it like made sense, however we came to that conclusion, yeah, I could see that happening. And of course like if I was really seeing someone for that long and it's something that wouldn't change, then it probably would be something that I'd mention. So yeah.
Yeah. I've learned the lesson to kind of to not publicize your relationship until you're at a point where you're like really confident in it. Because like my last relationship, it started on Twitch. Like the very, very first interaction I ever had with her was on Twitch. And the second one, the third one, the fourth one. And like we talked privately and, kind of get to know each other like underneath. And that was fine. And, we liked each other. But like the whole Twitch aspect or like the public relationship aspect kind of weighed heavily because at some point you just like, oh God, what if things don't work out? Everyone's gonna be angry or like they're gonna say stuff and like it's gonna get weird and you can't just get in your own head. So I think my one regret is just not having that time to develop a relationship privately and get to know each other like in a more not like so publicly scrutinized manner so that like I can understand my own feelings better versus just like that constant voice in the back of your head. But yeah, but what's the public gonna say about you guys because you started publicly from the beginning? So for my next relationship, I'll probably keep it super super low key until like way down the line because at the end of the day as content creators, if we fall in love with someone, we want them to be part of our work. It's like I want to play games with them on stream. I want to,
Mhm.
like, if I'm IRL streaming or I'm vlogging, it's like, hey, be in my content. I want to show the world who you are, kind of deal. So
Mhm.
for me, I want to reach that point with someone where I'm confident enough in the relationship to make her like appear in my content, I guess.
I do think it was a bit unfortunate with you and Janet because you guys did end up liking each other legitimately. It was just the initial circumstances that were something you couldn't really help and that are very difficult for anyone to deal with, really.
Okay, so stay private. Okay.
I feel like the first thing Fed'll do is announce to his stream.
No,
By
I
the way,
mean,
guys, I went on a first date.
holy shit.
And here's how it went, and this is what happened. Oh, here's our second date.
They would think I'm farming caps every time. I tell them, hey guys, I'm on a date today. They're like, yeah, good one. Yeah, stop lying. But I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence on like private or on content type thing. Like my mind's telling me,
That is actually such a good way to put it, because like your heart always wants to like showcase the positive stuff,
yeah,
but you never really feel the bad until it's there, and that's really
Uh-huh.
something you have to think about way ahead of time.
because
And I
like
think either decision is good as long as you're ready for it, you know?
yeah, because like when I think about like this is my I guess work. It is my work. But what if like something happens in a relationship that could affect my work, and my work is like my core. It should be like 100%. This should be working well, and if both like just collapse, it's just like, oh shit. Fuck.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Well, I wouldn't want one to affect the other too much, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, something to think about. We out here toast. We'll poke you. We'll see.
I believe in y'all.
Yeah, I mean, we're famous, right? At the end of the day, we can just use our
Fed
clout.
has a Rodschler soon. He's gonna find the one.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Oh,
find the love of
oh.
my life. I'm really excited.
So the
I don't know if that's the
Rochester-
right place to find the love of your life.
Mhm.
Yeah, because
Last couple times I've seen that go down, it was not ideal.
Yeah, I rewatched Fitz's
Stop,
episode.
and he chose Katarina.
Oh, dude, no, you should watch the whole thing, man. It is like it aged like fine wine, or sorry, like bad, like rotten cheese, man.
Aged like milk.
Yeah, dude. Holy
In their own
shit.
ways, yeah.
Yeah. It was a sight to behold. But yeah. I mean, I don't actually expect to find like love, but I think it's a good opportunity to like at least meet people. I like meeting people. You guys know me. I'm a very social person, so.
True.
And I feel like the girls you would meet on that show are girls who would be willing to talk to you because you're such a big streamer anyway. Because I don't know if they're changing up the roster, but every time I look at the majority,
It's the same roster for
it's
every
the same girls, and I feel like they just want to stay on every episode so they can just keep getting like more exposures. Like,
ooh, that's actually it. I mean, then Fed, you should know that if a girl is on it this time specifically for your show and she never has been before, that's a really good sign.
Oh, true. Yeah. But they're all gonna pick hosts. You already know.
I mean, maybe.
Yeah.
No, I actually think with you they'll all pick love because that's the long term host.
Long game.
Ah, smart. We'll see though. I think it'll be fun. You know, I'm when it comes to women, I'm very confident in my ability to. Oh, how convenient! What a convenient call. I'm very confident in my ability to talk to women, and especially groups of women. So I think it'd be a good show. But yeah.
Yeah, you have a lot of experience with women who friend zone you.
It really does. Raj asked me, he was like, "Are there any girls that like we should include?" And I'm like, "All of our friends? Nah." I don't really know any other really girls. I mentioned a couple though, so we'll see how it goes. Hopefully it's good content.
Okay. All right, yeah.
I know Fed. Fed always says the same thing, which is like, oh, it's just for content. But there's that 1% of him deep in his heart who is just hoping maybe it's not for content.
True
love. Y'all need to chill. Listen. I mean,
All
it's
right. Final topic of the day, courtesy of our good friend Sean. If you had an unlimited budget, what show would you create? I guess it's just like, what kind of content would you do? For like, I imagine TSM, you guys do have a lot of budget. But have you guys ever thought about like, I don't know, there's stuff like reality shows, like I don't know, Terrace House, but what's it like in the inside of an esports team kind of deal, or like all the drama? Because people love
I
like reality and stuff.
I think it'd be really hard to do because like no one really wants like their business practices, and also like when things don't work out between teammates, they don't want that stuff aired. But if I could create a show just for peer views, I think like esports or just like Twitch, kind of like Jersey Shore
yeah.
or like Terrace House, but like
Yeah.
with different couples
Yeah.
on Twitch. I think that would be really funny to watch. But honestly, like it'd probably be pretty shitty for the people involved because you wouldn't let that stuff out.
You'd be surprised. I mean, there's reality TV of like anything. People like there's a lot of people who are happy to have that stuff.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, if
Out
I
there,
was
yeah.
if I was a professional player, like someone like Double for Peter, like, and I wouldn't want those internal issues out there on blast all the time. But if I was like a content creator and I was down, to have that stuff out there, yeah, fuck it, dude. Yeah, let's do it, man. I think it'd be fun. I was actually gonna bring up a similar idea. If I had an unlimited budget, I would have a full-time writer and a full-time like I would want to do something on the lines of Terrace House, Jersey Shore, like you said, and The Office. Like I think that'd be really cool. Of like the Twitch universe, but I feel like right now there's just no one doing it. And Lily and I have tried writing like a Office skit, but it's so hard. It's actually
It really is.
It's so hard, man. But yeah, that'd be my thing.
Yeah.
Or do you guys you guys know the game shows like I don't know, just like survival game shows? Like what if you had Twitch couples and esport couples compete with each other on like Great like Escape or something, like something like that?
Yeah,
That would be really funny.
like
True.
the island. Yeah,
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I think people underestimate just how desperate and hungry
People can be.
people can be for like fame, like struggling. Like when you think Instagram models, you think like super hot, skinny, millions of followers, but there are like tens of thousands of like Instagram models who are really attractive, but like they just have a couple thousand followers, and like people don't know like there's so much people who are willing to do a reality show, do a Terrace House, do a Jersey Shore. Like they would love to sign up to be on Jersey Shore because it's really dramatic, and it's probably like people who are not completely functional human beings, but those people make the best kind of content. Like us at Offline TV, we're too responsible and wholesome. But like if we had no shame, I guarantee we could get way more viewers.
People who want to climb the ladder typically have no shame. Actually, that reminds me, I was scrolling through Netflix the other day, and there's this new show called Too Hot to Handle.
I watched the whole season.
You'd watch the whole thing?
Oh wait, what's it called?
Too Hot to Handle.
No way. Okay, listen to the premise.
Okay.
So you get 10 or like 8, 10 really hot guys and 8, 10 really hot girls, and you bring them both on like a beach resort. So they're in bikinis and shirtless all the time. It's hot AF. They get whatever food, drinks, whatever they want. Okay. And they all want to hook up with each other so badly. And then you say, oh, but you guys aren't allowed to touch each other, or else we deduct money from this 100K pot. But if you guys abide by these rules, you walk away with all the money.
They don't fuck. They 100% touch each other, right?
And like when I saw that premise, I was just like, it makes so much sense, but it's so dumb, bro.
Yeah, it's so vain. Like imagine these people signing up. It's like, oh, you're a super hot contestant. We're gonna put you on an island with other super hot contestants. You want in? And like
they're like, yeah, hell yeah. First day there, and you're like, you can't hook up, and they're like, no. You want the 100K or not?
Yeah, you gotta have no shame if you wanna make it in the biz.
Of reality TV, yeah. I think what I would do is something kind of like something between a streamer camp and a reality TV show where it's
Streamer
like
apprentice.
something like that, where it's just like a group of people, preferably single and or in a couple. We can't have full couple or you know. And they're all like trying to kind of make it as content creators, and then you have people like coaching them. I think because it's like, you know, there'll always be that reality TV drama if you group a bunch of people together. But on top of that, I think it would be really interesting to see people grow online and the kind of difficulties or positive things that come from it. I feel like there is nothing that's really showcased that like behind the scenes. Yeah. That'd be my idea. Maybe Offline TV will make a reality TV show. We've actually talked about it.
We did because
Yeah.
we have like a spare room in the house. Like we can literally like I've said this before, and I'm getting so much DMs from people who hasn't even started content creation saying, "Hey,
Oh,
Toes, heard you
no.
talking about it on the podcast. I'm your next project." And it
I'll
pisses me
move into
off.
the house free of charge.
Yeah, it's like I'll give you 50% of my earnings. Like they're doing me a favor by offering more. It's like, dude, I can pick anyone off the freaking streets. You gotta give me a reason to pick you, right? And yeah, so if you're watching, you want to be a big, famous, whatever, and you want to join Offline TV, at least do something first before you hit me up. 'Cause
Create a
if-
portfolio at the very least, i.e., your online channels.
Yeah. But
That's
yeah,
actually
probably-
super. Oh,
Go ahead.
sorry. That's actually super funny because I get people, messaging me all the time. Hey, I want to join TSM. You know, you need to recruit me. I'm going to be the next big thing. And it's just like, well, they don't really, they don't stream. Like they're not on any ladders. Like we recruit for like competitive games too. So like we expect you to be like challenger, or like top 50 challenger. And it's just like, oh, I'm silver. I'm going to be the next big thing. So it's just like
I actually applied to be TSM's editor about 4 years ago.
Wow.
But like we said, I didn't really have anything to show. I just was like, hey,
Aww.
I can do this. I mean, I had like little small things, but I don't think it wasn't anything profound and really, yeah. So yeah, you really gotta do something first, and then showcase that, and then yeah. Do you imagine Fedmeister TSM editor? We could have.
I think
Nah, you would have gone from editor to content creator there too, I'm sure.
I don't know. We'll see.
You're better in front of the camera.
Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it here at OTV when Fed is trying to move from editor to like content creator, and like the general sentiment is like it's easier to find an editor, a good editor, than it is to find a good camera, talent, right?
Yeah.
Because like good talent is rare, but editor, you can. There's a lot of editors out there, and it's easier to like fix them and guide them.
You
and
can
give them-
create an editor easier than you can create talent.
Yeah,
for sure.
exactly.
Do you really believe that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess for me, it's because I wore a lot more hats than just like editor. I also had like a vision, if that makes sense. And it's hard to like teach that vision or like process to people, or like way of thinking, because a lot of editing is like instinctual, and it's really hard to like
Teach that
like
or
comedic
give someone that.
Yeah, because a lot of it's comedic timing, a lot of it's like your internal library, stuff like that. But yeah, I know. I think you're right, Toast, for sure. How did we get here?
TSM.
Ah,
Editing.
right. Yeah, you're right. TSM.
Leena, do you reply to like all these? How often? I guess percentage wise, when someone joins TSM, it's them asking you versus you asking them. Like, do people apply and say, "Hey, I want to be in TSM," and you check them out, and you're like, "All right, sure, come on in."
I would say 90% is us reaching out. There have been a few cases where we would, send out a tweet, hey, we're recruiting for this game. And we would have like people apply. And and usually we have some intern go through all the pretty shitty replies, and also Peter in the background.
Hi, Peter.
Also,
He waved.
Yeah, and so what was I saying? So
you have people going through the
Reach out
applications.
Oh yeah.
yeah, and so usually we have like an intern go through the initial application process, because you're going to get a lot of spam. There's a lot of times where people will, they're like 12 and they just want to shoot their shot.
Mhm.
But with our Apex team, we were actually able to find them through that initial questionnaire that they filled out.
Nice.
And if you actually have, like you guys said, if you actually have a portfolio, have like a Twitch channel, have some YouTube videos up, we'll actually go through them. It's just most of the time people don't even have that.
Damn, your Apex team is actually
Mhm.
fucking insane. I don't know if you guys follow it. It's I think the best team.
Who is it?
Like,
I actually don't follow the Apex scene in general too much.
It's
so-
Aberlily, Imperial Hell, and Reps.
Reps.
They're actually so fucking good, dude. It's insane.
Ooh.
Yeah, they're the best team in the world right now. So
By
Nice.
long shot.
And they were the ones who applied, right?
yeah,
To the tweet. So
yeah. The initial roster was actually Thump, Imperial Hal, and actually forgot who the third was. But then we ended up going through a few different roster changes for where we're at now.
yeah.
Oh, so it wasn't so, like they didn't all three apply like together. It was just like, oh, holy shit,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Okay, and with Valorant, being so poppin', still in beta though, like not even everyone has it yet. I'm sure we have a few viewers who are players of Valorant. It's like, all right, Leena, how do I get on the TSM Valorant team when it comes out? Am I supposed to grind the ranks? Do I hit top Valorant and
That
hit you
always
up?
helps.
Yeah, like Ranked is supposed to be coming out, I think, tomorrow. And so if you are looking to join any type of pro team, you're going to have to grind ranks. And I think the other thing is being realistic with, there's a lot of the times people who are too young to be a part of any esports team, but they'll still apply. People who...
What would you say is too young?
So Riot has a rule where you have to be 17 or older to compete. And so Fortnite was, I think, 14 and older. And so each game will have their own rule. I think like we do have so many kids who like joining TSM is their dream, but they want to drop out of school to do something like this. And I would just say that's not realistic. And just wait till you're a little bit older and then see if it's realistic for you. Like I think Fortnite had a really terrible scene where Iman, you're a part of the scene where there's so many kids just dropping out of school to try to make it. Yeah.
It's really sad.
There was no like age thing for Fortnite.
Yeah, it's
14.
14 to compete, but a lot of kids dropped out of school to try to become a Fortnite. And so, yeah.
That's crazy. I mean, I think I've heard of people quitting their jobs to be like streamers,
but when you're like 14, you kind of got to make it through school first.
Yeah, it's like if you lose your early childhood education to play video games, that really
And it might not work
mess
out.
you up. Yeah,
And it's kind of, I don't know. Do you guys think it's kind of harder to go back? Or like, I feel like it would feel worse to go back when you're young versus if you're in university and you kind of skip out on a year or two. I feel like everyone's kind of like 20 something in school, but
100%.
it's much more impactful when you're much younger.
It's like the foundation of like your, I don't know, your personality, like your beliefs, like all of that is like shaped and formed in like your high school years. And then
But also on the other hand, I think Soren Bjergsen like didn't finish high school or even like go to high school. He's doing fine.
okay, he's the exception. This man like
yeah, but that's the thing.
He's
There's like
insane.
one exception, and then there's a lot of other situations where it doesn't work out, and it's a lot riskier than it needs to be. I do think a lot of people, even if you don't make it right away when you could have, if you still have that potential within you, like you can make it down the road when it's a bit less risky too.
Yeah, I think for pro gaming versus content creation, it's just about being realistic with where your skill set is at. I think Soren is someone who he's always been insane at the game. He was killing the solo queue game before he was on a team. I know when he turned 17, he joined his team in EU, and then they were 07 before him, and then they went 7-0. So it's just, he knew he was good. People knew he was good. For him, the risk wasn't as big as someone who is like Diamond and trying to make it, because I think the talent's just not really there.
Are you saying I can't be a pro player?
Oh,
'Cause
you
I'm
can do anything you want.
Thanks, Leena.
All right. Well, so there you have it, kids. Don't drop out of school. But
Yeah.
if you are really, really, really good and 17
If you're
and
number
above-
1 on the ladder, then you can drop out. But everyone else, don't do it.
Exactly. You hit number 1 on the ladder. It's open a Twitch channel, and I guarantee you, viewers are gonna
Easy.
come flooding in.
100%.
100%. So, like, all you future Valorant pro players, a lot of you have it in your Twitter like descriptions already, even though the game's not released. That's how you get noticed. But I think that's all the time we have today. Thank you so much, Leena, for joining us. Would you like to do any shout outs? Take it away.
I'm good.
Go
I've never done
follow
this
her.
before,
She's so cute. TSM Leena. Just Google her. You'll find her on whatever you need.
She also streams sometimes, maybe.
but very occasionally.
It's quarantine.
Yeah.
There's nothing
Yeah,
else to
course.
do.
you.
Twitch
But,
viewership's
no,
all the way up.
Thank you guys so much for having me. I guess shout out to Offline TV. I'm not really here often with these guys on camera, but I would say I've been pretty close friends with Fed and Iman for a while now. So yeah, shout out to them.
Yay. Thanks for joining us. Anything
Yeah.
else we got to say?
This is on Spotify. I'm pretty sure we're supposed to say that at the beginning, but we are unprofessional streamers here. But yeah, check us out on Spotify. Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you guys next week.
On the next one. Bye.